Join me as I dive into this mind-blowing fact about our brains that has scientists scratching their heads. You know how we tend to think of our brains as these incredibly powerful and complex computers that can process and store vast amounts of information? Well, what if I told you that there's a mind fact that's turning everything we thought we knew about brain function on its head? One of the biggest misconceptions about how our brains work is that we only use a small percentage of our brain capacity. You've probably heard that myth before. It's been perpetuated by movies, books, and even some scientists. But the truth is, we use almost every part of our brain, and the areas that are active at any given time are highly interconnected. Even when we think we're at rest or not paying attention, our brain is constantly working, performing a variety of complex processes simultaneously. Every day, while we engage in different tasks, different areas of the brain light up, collaborating to keep us functioning at our best. Another misconception is that our brains are kind of like computers, with different areas serving specific functions like processing visual or auditory information. But in reality, the brain is a highly dynamic and adaptive system that can reorganize itself in response to new experiences or learning. It's not a static machine, it's constantly rewiring itself to meet the demands of our environment. This phenomenon, known as neuroplasticity, allows the brain to shift functions between different areas. Think of it as a city where roads can change direction and new highways can be built in response to traffic needs. And this adaptability doesn't just stop in childhood, it continues throughout adulthood, allowing for lifelong learning and adaptability. And then there's the idea that each side of the brain controls the opposite side of the body. While that's partially true, the relationship between the two hemispheres is much more complex than a simple division of labor. The left and right sides of the brain are constantly communicating, sharing information in real time. Tasks that were once thought to be the domain of one hemisphere, like language in the left or creativity in the right, are actually the result of collaboration between both sides of the brain. Even more interesting is the fact that when one side of the brain is injured or damaged, the other side can sometimes take over certain functions, further demonstrating the brain's remarkable flexibility. Finally, there's this old idea that our brains are fixed entities that can't change or adapt once we reach adulthood. But neuroplasticity shows us that's far from the case. In fact, our brains are constantly changing in response to the environment, new learning, or injury. New neural connections can be formed at any age, and old ones can be strengthened or weakened based on how much they're used. This means that we are capable of learning and growing throughout our entire lives, something that challenges the long-held belief that the brain becomes rigid after a certain age. So, with those misconceptions out of the way, let's dive into the mind fact that's really got scientists amazed. It turns out that our brains have an incredible ability to reorganize and adapt throughout our lives, and I'm not just talking about learning new skills or information. I'm talking about the brain's ability to completely rewire itself in response to changes in our environment or experiences. For instance, studies have shown that when people are blindfolded for extended periods, the areas of the brain normally associated with visual processing start to take on auditory functions. This is called cross-modal plasticity, and it's a phenomenon that has huge implications for how we understand brain capacity and processing. Essentially, the brain can repurpose areas that would typically be used for one function and reassign them to another, making it far more versatile than we ever imagined. But what's truly blowing scientists' minds is that this reorganization isn't just limited to small-scale changes, it can happen on a massive scale. For example, there have been studies where individuals who suffered strokes damaging specific areas of the brain were able to recover by having other areas of the brain take over those functions. This remarkable capability allows people to regain skills and abilities that were once thought to be lost forever. The brain's ability to remap itself opens up new possibilities in the treatment and recovery from brain injuries, and researchers are still discovering new ways we might be able to harness this power for rehabilitation. What's even more fascinating is that this type of brain reorganization isn't just limited to recovering from injury. It can also occur naturally as we learn and grow. When we learn new skills, practice a hobby, or even pick up a new language, our brains are restructuring themselves to become more efficient. This reorganization can lead to improved performance, faster processing, and even increased capacity for complex tasks. In fact, studies have shown that people who regularly engage in mentally stimulating activities have more flexible brains and are better at adapting to new challenges. The potential for this in education and skill development is enormous. And here's something that might surprise you: this adaptability is not confined to the early stages of life. While it's true that children's brains are incredibly plastic and capable of rapid growth, adults also possess significant neuroplasticity. In fact, some research suggests that older adults can experience just as much cognitive flexibility as younger individuals when they engage in the right activities. This completely overturns the old idea that the adult brain is fixed and unchangeable, showing instead that we have the capacity to learn, adapt, and grow throughout our entire lives. So what's the most astonishing aspect of this mind fact? For me, it's the idea that our brains are capable of such massive reorganization, even well into adulthood. It challenges everything we used to believe about the limits of brain capacity and processing, and it opens up exciting new possibilities for how we can continue to learn, grow, and adapt at any stage of life. Whether it's recovering from injury, learning a new skill, or simply improving on what we already know, the potential of the human brain seems limitless. Today, we've uncovered a truly astounding mind fact that could change the way we think about our own brains. It's a testament to the incredible adaptability and resilience of the human brain, and it serves as a reminder that we're still just scratching the surface of what's possible when it comes to understanding how our minds work. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this mind-blowing fact. How does this new understanding of brain plasticity change the way you think about your own brain? And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating insights into the mysteries of the mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.